one of the things that I realized, Aaron, speaking of service to others, is that when you read the raw material, the first thing you realize is that, okay, evolution, it's about service to others or service to self. So I need to I'm on the positive path because I resonate with all of this stuff, and I need to be of service to others. Now, we naturally think about the action, the being, the activity that we're going to do, for service to others, because that's what implies. And I know that Ra at some point say that there is no proper way to describe service to others, but it's the best way they can find in our language to, in essence, explain or point towards the feeling of being of service to others. And so I had to ponder on that for a while. It took me a long time just to see how this natural develops in me, because the more you try, it's like, it's that principle of the Taoism, the Wu Wei, it's just allow things to flow effortlessly. So just let things happen. And the one thing that we're going to get into later on is that the more I started to relax myself into being and to just being, then more things started to show as automatic service to others, that I didn't have to put an effort into it. It was just me. And even I couldn't, notice if I was being of service to others, but just by, the reaction of people, or simply how my life, just instead of being surrounded by negative things, I suddenly just started to see more positive in the world. And so later on, I realized that this was an effect of me becoming, like you said, more loving towards everything, because the more you know yourself and you realize that you are, yes, you're not your cells, you're not your thoughts, you're not, this body or the mind. And so that means that this localized point of consciousness that you are is really the basis for all the existence of anything else. And so in the same way that I need the body for movement and experience, I need everything else that is around me for experience. And so I become this vast field of the universe that it is. And that just automatically makes you think or see the universe difference in people and everything. And suddenly, like you said, loving others is not even an activity. It's just something that you are, it's like, it's like suddenly this hand became aware that this hand was connected by, this body, and says, oh, okay. It's like, let's live together. Let's just, I
love you. Yeah.
Right. It's automatic. It's just like, I'm so grateful that you're here. So this is the realization that I got with service to others. And to me, if I can describe it, and I would love your take on this, is that, like Ross says, first know yourself. I would love your take on this too, because the first time I read it, I was just like, come on, Ra, this is all you're going to say? Know yourself, accept yourself, become the creator? Like, what does that mean? Right. But once you get more deeper into all of this, you realize that knowing yourself is this part, and then accepting yourself becomes sort of, the only way. And that's how you become the creator, in the sense of realizing this distortion that we all are, which is part of the same thing.
Yeah, I love the passage where Ra describes the opening of the indigo ray as it's the center of knowledge of self as the creator. And Ra says, when this center is opened, service to others becomes automatic. Because it's like that would be true, right? If you genuinely, authentically perceived everyone as just you having a different experience, you'd be incapable of not being loving, because it's you and you naturally love yourself. So it's like, we could even back up, and maybe this is more of a non-duality take on it, but like, how am I everything? Well, if there is only one creator, one intelligence, one energy, like, it has to know itself if it's going to discover what it is, it has to do so in a seemingly linear way, in the sense of, if I have like a favorite, dessert or something, and I'm just so in love with this dessert, I'm like, well, I want to know how I make this dessert so that if my favorite chef leaves town, I can still make this dessert for myself. So you got to get in there and dissect every ingredient in that dessert, whatever it is. And then you've got to slowly work on making that dessert yourself in your own kitchen, ingredient by ingredient. So in the same way, or in a similar way, if the creator wants to know itself, it has to do so through some kind of pathway like evolution, a slow progressive journey, so that it can taste every flavor, every gradient of what it is, piece by piece. So if I was having the experience of being everywhere all at once, all the time, then what would that be like, right? It really wouldn't be an experience like we think of an experience. In fact, it would probably be something like, Om, for eternity. You're experiencing every sound, every atom all at once simultaneously. So you can see how, if the source wants to know itself, it has to localize itself, like you said, in a point of consciousness. So the ego says, I'm everything. Bogus. I don't believe that. If I'm everything, why am I experiencing just this one point of view? Why shouldn't I experience the tree's point of view and that guy's point of view and everyone's point of view if I'm everything? And the simple answer is because that wouldn't be an experience of anything, right? It would just be allness, which is what the creator is. It wants to know what allness is made out of, which is you and I individually. Each little fragment of the divine is being realized slowly, gradually through evolution. So you're like, wow, the source is doing some incredible thing in each and every one of us. But if I know myself as a point of consciousness that is just emanating from the creator, like a ray of sunlight from the sun, then I automatically know you as that. And so that's the sameness that we find. I find sameness with you, not because you look like me, you talk like me, you like the things I like. That's not where we find sameness. In fact, thank God everyone doesn't look like me and talk like me and like what I like. What a boring universe, right? We naturally want diversity because we're infinite in nature. So I want you to have a different expression of that sameness as me. But what's the same about us is the consciousness, the awareness, the existence, and the fact that we are creators, right? You and I are always creating all the time, and we can't escape that because that's what we fundamentally are. So to me, that's what the law of one is getting at, is to celebrate the diversity and uniqueness of all things as all different reflections of the same one. And so it's on the basis of that sameness, the one essence, that we love and serve others. And it's like we're in such a dense illusion, especially here in third density, that it's like we got to do something almost like drastic to get out of this heavy illusion. Like we're walking through molasses or something. And it's the service to others that really wakes us up. It's that karma yoga, good actions that alleviate the inertia of our bad actions, our selfish actions. When we act selflessly, it's sort of like a confrontation to the ego's way of thinking, that I'm a separate self, I'm an isolated person, individual and separate. If that was true, then I would never serve others, right? It would be just pure Darwinian evolution only. I would look out for number one, fight to get to the top, survival of the fittest, baby. You're my enemy, you're in my way, I'm going to step all over you to get to victory. That would be rational if separation was true. So service to others is this act of like gradually annihilating that perception by acting in direct opposition to it, right? If my ego wants me to only act separate and I just keep acting one, eventually I will destroy that perception and I will see the sameness in all things. And to me, that's the brilliance of the service to others path, is that it's like, you don't even have to understand this, man. Just be kind to others and serve them in whatever way possible. And slowly but surely, whether you see it or not, you are polarizing your consciousness towards fourth density.